There is a crisis looming, the proclivity for fair skin complexion. This is not a disclaimer. I need an affirmation that 85% of females in Africa are bleaching their skin. Yes or no? Now, I have a question for you. How do you depict beauty? What is your own perception of beauty? In school, because of my dark complexion, I was considered conventionally not attractive and was expunged to the ugly group. I had zero appearance-based privilege. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. I am Mary Kimbi, and today let me take you down the memory lane to sculpt through my adolescence, which is the most turbulent stage of life. There is a saying, let everybody leave everybody's else business alone. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. And there's another one which I invented, which says, lean back, lie low, and mind your own business. But this was exactly the opposite back in school. So in school, we had these obnoxious bunkers who thought they had the power to ostracize people's visual appearances. Like they'll sit in class and put people on a spectrum, where they'll constantly blast the ones who were dark in complexion and the ones from impoverished families. I heard a YouTuber saying we are visual creators and form a lot of judgment based on what we see. But can I say that that judgment was based on physiognomy or personality flaws? No, they hype girls that had light skin complexion and the ones from rich backgrounds. So even if you are dark skinned and you're from a rich home, you are considered beautiful. You are automatically beautiful. Someone like me that was dark in complexion and I was from a poor background, you know, I just had this instantaneous and constant beratement from my classmate, from my aunt at home. Because at this juncture, I was staying with my aunt. I was in Form 2, so I was staying with my aunt far from my parents. My classmates were very standoffish towards me. My peers made fun of me. In fact, I had classmates who derived so much pleasure from just reminding me how I'm Satan's last born. You know, from just telling me how I look exactly like my black shoes. Like, oh my gosh, I felt so inferior. You know, at that stage, I didn't try to blend in. I just kept to myself and I focused on my studies. You know, there is this saying that form resilience in the face of adversity. How could that be possible? When I had people who kept on reminding me how I'm Satan's last born. And then when there was like this group work in school or something, they will say, Satan's last born, don't come here, don't come here. So if you want to talk about racism, just have it in your head that Africans are racist to themselves. This is the real racist ground. Even at that stage, I had classmates who came to school with extra clothes in their school backpack. Like they'll skip classes to go do some kind of shady things outside. You know, some of them, they already had boyfriends. Some of them, they were already going out with men at that tender age. You guys, I was the darkest in class, okay? I just had this dull black color. You know, there are some people that they are black and their black is really, really looking nice, you know, like beautiful. But I just had this very, very dull black color. Nevertheless, I grew up with my grandmother and I spent long hours under the sun working in the farm with my little hands. And then by that time I was staying with my aunt. Now this is what happened. Like I was dealing with a lot of work. Like the workload in the house was massive. She had 4 kids and then big house. Like the workload was massive. And then also I had to work in her farm. Like she would send me to go work in her farm and she would relax in the house with her kids. I was also dealing with snake beating. Do you know what I mean of snake beating? That somebody will beat you until you will see blood oozing out of your body. That is why I was always putting on school sweaters and long socks. My uniform was long because I was trying to hide the marks. All those things contributed to my, you know, dull, dark complexion. With my aunt, I was always brooding and always in this strong premonition. You know, I was going through so much that sometimes I would even sit and doubt my own existence. So I guess all these contributing factors really made me to look terrible. And I didn't really verbalize my weaknesses because I had no one to confide in. I was shrouded in my own world trying to attune myself to beating, bullying, and walking. So let's leave Form 2 and fast forward to Form 5. So this time around, I was 16 and I was living with my mother. You guys, Form 5. Hey! This is when colonization set in. Like the class was really, really divided. The gap between the rich and the poor was massive. The way they eulogized these people with pretty privilege, it was really, really loud. Like they popularized them. They say the higher you go, the tougher it becomes. There was just this too much invalid criticism, too much outrageous competition. Some of them were so haughty and uptight that you couldn't make any acquaintances with them. The whole thing was rimmed with so much toxicity. Discrimination from teachers. they will automatically make some students famous when they are in class. Or maybe you are from a renowned family, you know, a well-known family, like Dangote. Hey, Dangote is the richest man in Nigeria. Dangote's son is in class or daughter is in class. We'll only be hearing by that name now. It's only Dangote get up this, Dangote get up that. They will automatically make them famous. Or if you are beautiful, you know, the teacher will only handpick you. People like us, even if we put our hands up, he will not even call us to. So I was very subtle and civil in the way I was relating with my classmate. I didn't get into any altercations or any sort. Like, anyways, my mother was a petty trader. You know, I spent most of my time selling in the street, you know, to support my mom and all that. I went to get into an altercation with who? Do you want them to remind you where you're from? Do you want them to remind you who your father is? You sure who are you? Who are you to even open your mouth and talk? You are talking to who? They will tell you, remind me again, who are you? Who are you? That is the world that I was in, you guys. That is how divided the class was. So two of my classmates were arguing, okay? And the other one was like, look at you, ugly thing, ugly thing. But I was looking at both of them and I was like, who is ugly and who is beautiful here? So you see, so far as your parents are rich, so far as you are from a rich background, you are automatically beautiful. You have mouth to talk. You have a say, okay? But you, on the other hand, you need to keep quiet because you are on the other side of the spectrum, rank among the ugly ones. So you need to keep quiet. I didn't succumb to frivolities such as romance, clubbing, and all that. Some of these females in my class were dating boys who were fetishizing them. Some were even dating sugar daddies. Some were dating teachers. So let me tell you this incident that happened in school. So our class master called this girl first, okay? So during the end of term, there is this big hall in that school because it's a big private school. First of all, I was in a private school. So you see, my mother put me in a private school. But my aunt, she put me in a government school. And you know, over here, government school, you just have to pay PTA. But private school, you have to pay school fees, like huge amount of money. During the end of term, we usually gather in this big hall. So it's a big school and they have like this big massive hall that can accommodate everybody. During that particular period, this teacher called this girl first because they usually call the first three and then they'll give them like present, they'll present their presents or something, you see, and then the proprietor of the school will also give a speech and all that. Over here there is first, second, and third term. Our class master called this girl first. You see, I was supposed to be first and I was not there. Some of my classmates narrated the whole thing to me. He called this girl first and my classmates who were present in that hall, they started shouting like, wait, what is happening? He called this girl first, called the second person, then people started shouting, Kimbi, Kimbi, Kimbi. He called the third person, and then after he called my name. When two people take one number, they call it brackets, you see. My name was not even there. He simply just added my name because people started shouting in the hall. So when I arrived at school, I took my assessment slip. The whole thing was printed. I don't know, maybe he wrote 16, then after he cancelled the 6, then left 1. Or maybe he wrote 6, then after he cancelled the 6 and then put 1, or maybe, I don't know, if maybe he just cancelled the 16 and then he put 3. The whole thing was just printed, okay? Like, I was so confused. What actually happened is, when he called that girl first, you see, for him, he thought people were just going to suck it and stay quiet, you know, because she was like one of the beautiful top queens in class, like the beauty queen in class. People always glorify and marvel over her beauty. And then she had 2 elder sisters who were famous in school. So for him, maybe he thought people were just going to suck it and just keep quiet, you see. But at the end of the day, he panicked and then he ran now and print. When I looked at my assessment slip, oh my gosh, I died inside. I died inside. Because he could not do the same thing to the other girls. Can you imagine that the daughter of this will take the assessment slip and then see all that thing printed? He did it because I'm a nobody. My father is a nobody. What can we do? This is education for you in Africa. And some of my classmates gravitated towards me. You know, they wanted that we should take it up to the school management, you know, to demand an explanation or something. You see, because they felt like this was unjust. But, you know, I was just like, it's fine, no problem. In school, I was always just by myself, you know, minding my business, focusing on my studies. But at the end of the day, you know, we are social creatures and it is been normal to seek someone you can connect with. I met this girl, her soul rest in peace, she is no longer here with us. Yeah, so she was like, why are you having a flat tummy? What are you doing? You know, she was like, look at me, look at my tummy. I'm doing sports, I'm drinking this, but nothing is changing. What are you doing? Please help me. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was trying to hide myself because I looked like improper fraction. Just imagine having butts and having a flat tummy. It was kind of funny, you know. So I was just trying to hide. And she saw me and she was like, oh my God, you have all this shape. And I was like, what are you talking about? This girl changed me completely. She introduced me to taking care of my own body. You know, I was always dressed like an urchin. Is it urchin or urchin? When I would put on something, she would be like, oh my gosh, what is that? You're a big girl. Why are you dressed like that? My mother, she usually buy this mianga. I don't know. Is it palm kernel oil or something? What is this big girl like you? Look at what you're rubbing on your body. That girl changed me automatically. You guys, I changed automatically. It was phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Even though I changed a lot of things, you know, I had some physical attributes to it. My body. The boys that I had this crush on that I admired in class, they were no longer my level. But those were boys that they were looking at me like, you know, like I'm a nobody. But after I changed, they were no longer my level. There was this classmate of mine who had like a bubbly personality. She possessed some features I admired so much. She just had this magnetic charm I wanted so badly. Oh my God. Can you imagine what happened? So this time around, I changed school. I was in another famous private school. And some of my classmates, my previous classmates were there. So we were all classmates again. This girl that I admire so much, that she was like the top beauty queen in my previous school. In this new school, she was like a nobody. For me, you know, I developed certain kind of features, but she didn't. You know, she was still slim, she was still the same and all that. This time around, boys wanted, they wanted shape, okay? Even if you are short, or you're tall, or you're dark, or you're light skin, so far as you don't have butts, so far as you don't have the shape, you are a nobody. Even if you are the daughter of this, or your father is the this, so far as you don't have the shape, you are a nobody. So fast forward this time around, you guys, I was in the nursing school. Do you know what happened? So they vehemently handpicked me to be the social prefect of the student union. Oh my gosh. So you guys, I did not do any campaign or anything. Just the last 9 minutes, okay? This girl got up and she was like, oh, we need someone who is beautiful, someone who has money. I mean, I had no money, but I was comfortable because I was sponsored. So we went there and they did the presentation and they said, okay, you guys should go and stay. Obviously, when they are voting, you're not supposed to be there, you know. We went and we stayed in one small room. Later, they came and told me, oh, you won. And I was like, what? What? Are you serious? If someone had told me that one day people will choose me, then I would have said it's a chimeric dream. The only bad thing with pretty privilege is that I develop enemies. Till date, I automatically develop enemies. So without further ado, thank you so much for watching. So what do you think about pretty privilege? And what is your own perception of beauty? Eat healthy, stay happy. Bye-bye.